Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself. At 80, Ozzy is finally opening up about a moment in his life that nearly broke him, and it involved his wife and manager Sharon Osbourne. The betrayal, and the kind of drama that only the Osbourne family can deliver. Stick around for this one. It's intense. Osbourne's life is the stuff of legend. At 8, he rose to fame as the frontman of Black Sabbath. With albums like Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, gave the world hits like Iron Man, War Pigs, and Paranoid. Sabbath in 1979, he launched a solo career that was just as massive. Off stage, Ozzy was a walking hurricane. Head off a bat made him a rock and roll myth. 1982 was his rock, managing his career and keeping him alive. Now at 80, Ozzy's revealing a moment when Sharon's actions nearly destroyed him. A story that'll hit you in the gut. They met in the early 70s when Sharon's dad, Don Arden, was managing Black Sabbath. Sharon was tough, smart, and fearless manager. And with guitarist Randy Rhoads and producing Blizzard of Oz in 1980. Love got married in 1982 and had 3 kids, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. Sharon wasn't just Ozzy's wife, she was his savior, pulling him out of addiction and guiding his career through ups and downs. Their reality show, The Osbournes, from 2002 to 2005, show their chaotic but loving family life, making them pop culture icons. But behind the scenes, their marriage wasn't always solid, and Ozzy's recent confessions shine a light on a dark chapter. So, what did Sharon do that nearly destroyed Ozzy? In a 2025 interview on his podcast, The Madhouse Chronicles, and in chats with Rolling Stone, Ozzy's been reflecting on his life with brutal honesty. At 80, he's battling health issues like Parkinson's and spinal injuries, and he's looking back with a mix of gratitude and pain. The moment he's talking about happened in 2016, when Sharon discovered Ozzy had been cheating on her with a hairdresser named Michelle Pugh. The affair lasted 4 years, and when Sharon found out, she was devastated. Ozzy's admitted he was wrong, saying he was a mess and using sex addiction as a crutch to justify his behavior. But Sharon's reaction was what pushed him to the edge. She kicked him out of their home, cut off contact, and publicly humiliated him, nearly driving him to suicide. Let's break it down. When Sharon learned about the affair, she didn't just get mad, she went nuclear. She threw Ozzy out of their Los Angeles mansion, changed the locks, and told the press everything. In a 2016 episode of her talk show The Talk, Sharon broke down, calling Ozzy's affair a huge mistake and saying she was done with him. She even revealed she'd taken an overdose of pills after finding out, showing how deeply his betrayal hurt. For Ozzy, this public shaming was crushing. He said in interviews that Sharon's decision to air our dirty laundry made him feel like the world's biggest idiot. He was already struggling with sobriety, having relapsed into drugs and alcohol, and Sharon's reaction sent him spiraling. Ozzy's confessed that he holed up in a hotel, drinking and using drugs, and seriously considered ending his life. Why did Sharon's actions hit so hard? Ozzy's always seen her as his anchor. Through his drug binges, legal battles, and health scares, Sharon was the one who kept him going. When she turned on him, it wasn't just losing his wife, it was losing his foundation. Ozzy said he felt abandoned and worthless, especially since Sharon didn't just leave him privately, she made it a spectacle. Tabloids ran wild with headlines, and fans took sides, with many slamming Ozzy as a cheater. He's admitted he deserved some of the heat, but Sharon's choice to go public felt like a knife in the back. In a tearful moment on his podcast, Ozzy said, "I thought I'd lost everything. My family, my music, my reason to live. Sharon's always been my strength, and when she was gone, I was nothing." The affair wasn't the first time Ozzy cheated. Sharon said in her memoir that he'd been unfaithful before, but this time was different. Ozzy's described his relationship with Michelle as more than physical. He was emotionally attached, which hurt Sharon even more. Sharon's response wasn't just about anger. It was about protecting herself. She said she felt betrayed after years of standing by Ozzy through his addiction and chaos. But for Ozzy, her reaction was over the top. He's admitted he begged her to keep it private, but Sharon felt like going public was her way of taking back control. Ozzy said this was the moment he realized how much power Sharon had over his life, not just as his wife, but as his manager who controlled his career and finances. The fallout was brutal. Ozzy and Sharon separated for months in 2016, and their kids were caught in the middle. Kelly and Jack publicly supported Sharon, which Ozzy said felt like another betrayal. Amy, who's always stayed out of the spotlight, tried to mediate, but the family was fractured. Ozzy's confessed he hit rock bottom, drinking heavily and using cocaine to numb the pain. He said he wrote a suicide note, planning to overdose, but a call from his son Jack stopped him. Jack begged him to get help, and Ozzy checked into rehab. It was a slow climb back, and Ozzy's credited his kids and his music for pulling him through. He started working on his 2020 album Ordinary Man, which he's called My Therapy. What about Sharon? She's admitted she went too far. In a 2017 interview, she said she regretted airing their problems so publicly, admitting it hurt Ozzy and their family more than she intended. Sharon's always been a fighter, and her instinct was to hit back hard, but she said she didn't realize how close Ozzy was to breaking. They reconciled in 2017, renewing their vows in a private ceremony, but Ozzy's recent comments show the scars are still there. He said he forgives Sharon but can't forget how alone he felt. He's called it the darkest time of my life, worse than his drug overdoses or getting fired from Black Sabbath. This story isn't just about a marriage, it's about the toll of fame. Ozzy and Sharon lived under a microscope, with their every move splashed across headlines. The Osbournes made them reality TV stars, but it also put their flaws on display. Ozzy said the show, while fun, turned our life into a circus, and the 2016 scandal felt like a continuation of that. The pressure to be Ozzy and Sharon, the rock and roll couple, made it hard to handle their problems privately. Ozzy's also admitted that his rock star lifestyle, decades of drugs, booze, and chaos, set the stage for his mistakes. He's taken responsibility for the affair, saying, "I broke her heart, and I'll always regret it." At 80, Ozzy's reflections are raw and real. He's still making music, with his 2022 album Patient No. 9 earning a Grammy, but his health battles have made him face his mortality. He said he's grateful for Sharon, who's still his manager and biggest supporter, but he's honest about the pain she caused. Their love is strong, they've been through too much to give up, but Ozzy's admitted trust isn't what it used to be. He's called Sharon the love of my life, but also the one who can hurt me the most. For fans, this story makes Ozzy's music hit harder. Songs like Mama, I'm Coming Home, and No More Tears feel like windows into his heart, especially knowing what he went through. His resilience, surviving addiction, scandal, and health struggles, is what makes him a legend. Sharon's role, for better or worse, is part of that story. She's the woman who saved him and nearly broke him, and their messy, real love is what keeps us hooked. What do you think? Were you shocked by Ozzy's confession? Do you think Sharon went too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get the conversation going. If you're loving these deep dives into music history, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe